The following program is an OCA Media community-produced episode of Oregon Life, and we would like to thank our sponsors, Torhorse Insurance, the Oregon Brooklyn Optimist Club, and the Oregon Freemasons. We are proud to have you as our sponsors. Hello, this is Frank Caruso, producer of Oregon Life, and welcome back to a brand new episode as we revisit the Optimist Recipients of a continued series where we visit the teachers who have nominated the students and the students. I'd like to thank again to Sherry Pollack, who really organizes all this and makes it happen for our community, meeting these teachers and these young students. And if you would like to donate in any way, visit our donation page on the web or contact Paul at OCAmedia.com. So enjoy this episode of The Optimist Recipient here on Oregon Life.
Hi, my name is Tracey Rosemeyer. I teach math at Oregon High School, and I have nominated Livey Vondra for the Optimist Award. Livey is a student that, first of all, is very good at math, and so I had her very early on in her high school career. I had her when she was a sophomore in Algebra 2. But she was so good at math and so focused that I asked her to be a co-teacher in my co-teaching program. And for the last 2 years, she has been in my classroom co-teaching for my Algebra 2 classes. And she is doing that right now, and she will do that again second semester. She is a wonderful role model for those students. Right now I have her working with some students that are really falling behind in the class, and they want to go out in the hall and work with Livey and have her teach them because they really respect her, because they really value her. She's a calc student, so they know she knows her material, and she's just a hard worker. She's also a member of our Interact group. She's on the board. So she actually got involved last year and really excelled at that. And then she became a member this year and asked if she could be on our leadership team. And so she has really started putting in a lot of effort and time to get more people involved. That's kind of her role, is to recruit people. And she has done an excellent job of that. I think our numbers grew this year probably double of what we had last year, and that has a lot to do with what Livey did to recruit members. So she's a really positive person. She has done a great job of making a difference while she's here at Oregon High School, and I wish her the best of luck.
Hi, I'm Livey Vondra, and I was an Optimist Star recipient this year. I found out about my nomination through email, and it was sent out, and immediately I forwarded it to my parents, and they're very excited, happy people, so of course they took a screenshot and decided to send it to my family group chat. But that was cool. I have 3 siblings, so they were all liking the message and hyping me up, so that was a really nice moment. And then I saw the teacher who nominated me, Miss Rosemeyer, who I'm very close with, the next day, and it was really great seeing her and just thanking her for the nomination. And me and her are very close. I've had her as a teacher for multiple years, and she's super funny, and we always just kind of share stories and whatnot. So I'm very grateful and glad that she nominated me this year. I remember when we attended the Optimist ceremony that was a really special moment. I went there with both my parents, and then I walked through the door and I see my good friend Grace is standing there too with her parents, and you know, I'm good friends with her, so I got to sit by my friend as well as my parents, and I just felt very, supported and surrounded by a powerful community. I got to meet Sherry Pollack and the rest of the council and talk with them. I even remember when I was sharing out about my future plans, about how I wanted to be a lawyer, Sherry told me that she was going to talk me out of it because she works in law and she does not think that that's a good future, and that made me laugh in the moment. We went around and everyone shared something that they were optimistic about, and I remember I shared that I was optimistic that my sister was coming home from college for Thanksgiving, and so that was exciting, and someone was optimistic about the good weather on the weekend, and it just made it feel like that much less stressful, and I really appreciated that. And then going into the future, I do want to be a corporate lawyer, and the reason for this is sort of a mix of things, but mostly growing up, my parents were business owners, and so, dinner conversations were always filled with talk about stocks and HR and a ton of things that kids probably shouldn't be talking about, but I was just really engaged in that world, and so growing up, I always kind of wanted to do something along the business route just because that's what I was exposed to, and they really raised me to have a good work ethic and be engaged in just all sorts of corporate work. So for that reason, I want to go into the corporate field of law. But as far as law itself, I've just always been really drawn to social studies classes. I took the political science class at Oregon High School. It's now known as legislative semester. And it's basically a mock trial class where, you pretend that you're in a jury and you have debates, and our final is that we write a bill, and I wrote a bill about making sexual assault education mandatory in schools. And that was a really powerful moment for me, being able to kind of make a change, even if it wasn't a real law, just to know what it would be like to have that power and be able to make a substantial change in the world. So that, as well as I took sociology, criminology, and psychology, and I also really enjoyed all of those and just understanding how people work and systems like that. I'm also currently in AP Economics, and I really like understanding the business world through people and that sort of lens, so I feel as if that further develops my interest in corporate law, and I would really love to do that in the future. And I think hearing the Optimist Creed was really, intriguing and also just moving, just because I feel like optimism is one of those things that's really overlooked, especially when it comes to awards. A lot of people get awards for intelligence or sports or even kindness, which of course is also important, but optimism is one of those things that makes a big difference in your life as well as the life of others, and I just feel like it's not very well appreciated or recognized, so I really appreciate that. And going and listening to the Optimist Creed, it was just really powerful, because I do feel like if you were to wake up and read those to yourself and look in the mirror and say them with a strong voice, it would just make your day that much better, and you would kind of look on the bright side of things, just because I know in this day and age we like to look on the negative side, and I think that everyone could use a little positive in their lives. And the line that stuck out most to me, which I think is really important, is to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. And I think that this is something that we don't really talk about enough, especially as people get older. I feel like money starts to become a big problem, and people aren't very happy for your success, as well as success in anything, whether that be kids, a marriage, your education. And I just think at the end of the day, we're all people, we have the same struggles, and at the end of the day, we should just be happy for each other, because there's no point in not doing that, and we should support each other as human beings. And so that was really powerful to me. I'm very thankful to Ms. Rosemeyer as well as the Optimist Council for giving me this award, and the ceremony was lovely, and so I'm very grateful for that. As far as Ms. Rosemeyer, I think she's an amazing teacher, and we have a great bond, and the world really needs more teachers like her, so I just hope she knows how incredibly thankful I am for her and all that she's done for me. And as far as everything else goes, I have to get to class, so see you later. Bye.